Talk Shoes. Recorded live.
Hello and welcome to Castle of Horror, the interview segment where we talk to writers and creators of today's genre worlds from Denver, Colorado. I'm your host, Jason Henderson, creator of the Alex Van Helsing novels. This week we're talking to Tamara Thorne and Alistair Cross, authors of the new book, The CLIFFHOUSE Haunting. Thorne and Cross joined forces in 2012 with the idea to write a short story together. One thing led to another, and since then they've completed The CLIFFHOUSE Haunting, which is this book we're talking about today, a new one called, delightfully, Grandma's Rack. I see lace and antiques, which is currently in production, as well as completing 5 installments of their successful Gothic serialized novel, The Ghosts of Raven's Crest, which I also want to ask you about because it does sound indeed very Gothic, but I haven't read any of it. All right. Also, since November of 2014, they have their own horror-themed radio internet show, Haunted Nights Live, as part of the Authors on Air Global Radio Network. So, welcome, Tamara and Alistair. Hello.
Hello. Hi. How you doing?
Fantastic. And I think this is the first time I've ever interviewed a pair, like a couple of people. So, logistically, if you talk over one another, I'm sure that will be charming. I'm not even going to pretend.
We do it constantly.
Where are you calling from? I mean, I know that Alistair, you're in Mountain Time. Where are you located?
I'm in Denver.
You're in Denver?
I
had no idea you were in Denver.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Yeah. And
wow. Okay.
Tamara's
all right. Very cool. That's it's a very, very, very strange and small world. Tamara, are you in California?
Yeah, I'm Southern California, down toward Los Angeles, out in the sticks,
right,
so
very,
it's nicer.
Lovely. Okay. All right. So I gotta say, I've read The CLIFFHOUSE Haunting, although I've really only skimmed towards the end because this is a 500 page. This is a big book, and I only started a few days ago. So, but what I wanted to remark about was, this book is about a cast of characters who occupy a seaside town, very much a tourist kind of town in California, and into their lives has come a series of killings. I wanted to say a serial killer, but it's actually a number of serial killers who it's possible are being manipulated by a legendary ghost in the territory. And I say that, and I don't think of that as too much of a spoiler because I think you kind of lay that out in the beginning that this ghost is somehow involved in the activity of these serial killers. But what I wanted to ask you about, first of all, if you have a hell of a lot of characters in this book. I mean, the main characters are situated around this hotel. You have these wonderful gay dads and their brilliant college-age daughter, and all of these characters, cops and killers and everything. Did you have a hard time keeping all of? This might sound like a stupid question, but I was thinking most books literally don't have this many characters in it. Did you have a hard time keeping all of this straight?
No.
No.
I've always written that way.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the reason I ask, when I'm reading it, the thing I'm thinking of the most is stuff like, Peyton Place from, Grace Metalius, or even on TV, things like Broadchurch, where you've got a big bunch of soap opera. Well, so tell me in terms of your craft. I mean, do you have like a table where you're keeping track of them, or do you have a whiteboard, or do you just know in your head where these different threads are going?
Well, we have computer files, and we develop each of the characters, and we give them their own file. And it's interesting because actually, if anything, we had to cut a lot of them back. A lot of them originally had a lot more stage time than made the cut. This book that you're saying is so huge. We actually cut about 50,000 words out of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And a lot of characters too.
Yes, and there were several characters that had to go. So for us,
how many words is it right now in length? Is it about 120?
120 right now, and it was about 100 and I think it got up to about 170. Yeah, 174. Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah, it's 120, I think. Yeah. So.
That's a hell of a book. I mean, you know, and you're getting up into like big fat fiction Sidney Sheldon territory when you're.
Yeah. We think of it more as Stephen King territory. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure. Well, and that's another good model. You look at something like the Dome, you know, Under the Dome, which he I think I could swear that he at some point said that he also had Peyton Place in mind when he wrote it. You know that
he may have.
That you've got all of those characters, you know, and it's sort of a wonderful, sort of twisted America under a glass look, because you've got, you know, everybody has some dark tale, you know, and then you've got a couple of nice characters, but you know, like the doctor who is, I don't want to spoil too much, but there's a doctor in here who is one of the bad guys, and
he doesn't think so.
I'm sorry?
He doesn't think so.
No, he doesn't. Well, what's interesting is when Sickert is in a conversation, he does this thing that only that I remember people saying that Ed Gein used to do, which is that he would inappropriately laugh or smile, which is this.
Really?
Yeah,
really? I didn't
trademark.
Know
that. No, it's apparently. Who knows if this is true? Okay, this is just what I heard among the geniuses on the internet. Okay, but so I have heard it is a thing that schizophrenics do, that they have inappropriate bursts of laughter and you know, Tourette syndrome like outbursts. And Gein used to you know, he would smile all the time, and people found it unnerving, but it was just this, it was a tick. I thought he did that on purpose. So
well, yes, in one way, I didn't know about Gein, but we knew the psychology, you know, as he's losing his mind, losing grasp. Yeah.
And he actually,
but I didn't know about Gein. That's so cool.
Right. But Dr. Sickert, he was actually very secondary. He doesn't appear until, you know, quite a ways into the book, and we kind of had to go in later because he kind of grew and became so much fun. We kind of had to go in later and add a little bit more of him earlier, because he was just, you know, supposed to be there in passing, and he ended up kind of, you know, with his own thread.
Yeah.
Oh boy, did he ever? Yeah. I love that when that happens, though.
A character like Sickert, and I have another one to ask you about after that. But when you're writing that character, and setting aside the acts of violence, which are really, really rough, you know, but so you've got this Peyton Place thing going on, but also some really rough gore. But
I love that everyone thinks that Alistair wrote the scene with the immersion blender. I won't say more than that. No, that was a total collaboration. And I own that immersion blender. That was the inspiration.
It is an astonishing, you know, it'd be a tough thing to film. I'm trying to imagine how you could pull this off, you know, and not be just rated X. I mean, you know, it's real rough. But
keep the camera high.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a million. You know, you could probably do a lot of it with just sound effects and cutaways, and that would be fine.
Yeah. You said cutaways. That's gross.
But my question about Sickert is, when you're following his thoughts, he has these really twisted, dark thoughts about the people around him and the women around him and all that stuff, you know, and it's he, you know, he despises everybody.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, he thinks they're all phonies. He's looking forward to seeing them killed, to seeing them, you know, humiliated, whatever. He's totally self-centered. But I mean, and so I'm curious, you know, is it hard at times to present these thoughts that I think anybody in polite society would think are really ugly, you know? And maybe this is the fun of being a horror writer, but is it tough to inhabit that?
Not for me. What about you?
Yeah, no. With him, I mean, it you know, we've both done serial killers before. We've both done mentally, emotionally, you know, unbalanced people before, and it's surprising and kind of scary how easily it flows, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, it's great. I love it.
I mean, he never. It's always the good guys, the normal people. They'll stump me. Those are the ones that are like, now, what would they think? What would they say? But the crazy ones, they just come right out. oddly.
They do.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Well, so is it easier to write, for instance, this character Sickert than to write the sort of lovey-dovey couple who own the hotel, who's the greatest of their problems is that one of them is gaining more weight than he would like. I mean,
it's more fun. Although Teddy and Adam are a lot of fun too, but they aren't central. You know, I wouldn't want to torture those guys. I like them too well, but I love going into Secret's head and just letting him have his way. We both do.
Yes,
it's more fun.
Yeah, it's astonishing. Well, okay, then I want to get to a character that I think everybody should read this book just for this character. I think if you like reading books and you like writing, I want to talk about Constance Welling.
Okay, say that out loud again. Alistair made up his name. It's fantastic.
What is it? Constant Swelling? Constant Swelling. Oh,
yes. Swelling. And her middle name is Lee, so it's constantly swelling sometimes. You know?
That's awesome.
Yeah,
okay, so in this character, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, she was the most fun. She's the one that everybody asked about. Her and Dr. Secret, but especially her. She was a ton of fun. She she was a blast.
Well, I mean, so when you read her, or when you write her, I was fascinated by this character, and to describe it to the listener, if you're coming in, you know, and you haven't read this yet, this character of Constance is, if you think of like Lana, no, that's a 30-year-old reference. I'm trying to think of a character like this. You know, I was thinking about Lana from Three's Company, which, if you want to go all the way back to like 1979, you know, this sort of woman of a certain age whose big thing is that she throws herself at all the available young men around her, which I got to say is actually a charming trait, you know, and except for that, she's not charming because she's infuriating, you know, and but I also found myself really feeling sorry for her. You know, like especially all the stuff about the writing, you know, that she insists on calling herself an authoress. Yeah. First of all, I was a little unclear. Is she an authoress? Has she written at all? I mean, she's doing a signing, so what's going on there?
She does.
She has self-published books, she doesn't think they're self-published, but they're very bad. They're booklets on crystal packers, which is what we always call, take it, Alistair, I can't think what they're called, New Agers.
Well, she does little booklets on like the healing properties of crystals and you know, metaphysical things like that. To call herself an authoress really is just kind of a you know, an example in that way of her, you know, ego, because, you know, she doesn't write novels, she doesn't write books even, she just writes these little booklets and she sells them, and she, because of that, kind of has this rock star ideal, you know, idea of herself.
Yeah. She's a complete narcissist. Yeah. Yes. Utter narcissist.
Yeah, and you know, so that means when she goes to the hotel, she wants a great room because she feels like, because she's an authoress, she deserves to be a rock star. She wants a personal assistant for the same reason, you know, which is
much younger than her. Yeah.
Yes, sure. You know, and what older man wouldn't want a beautiful young assistant? You know, that totally makes sense. I don't think my wife would actually allow me to have a beautiful young assistant under
I know mine won't allow
circumstances.
Yeah,
that's just an unlikely scenario.
Well, Constance has this thing that we've always noticed, and I think I put one of these women in one of my early books, Haunted. They don't want to be writers. To call themselves a horror writer or a romance writer or any kind of genre is not good. They call themselves literary writers, and usually they never get published because they're trying so hard to be literary. They want to be in Oprah's camp. But Alistair and I write what we love, so we find these things crazy. And they're so full of themselves. And if you see us use the word literary with an apostrophe instead of literary, that's what we're talking about. And we've run into them my entire career, and we run into them now. It's Constance. It's one of those.
So is it more obnoxious that I feel just a dreadfully weighty pity for people who are that self-obsessed, or is it more obnoxious to make fun of them? I'm just trying to decide.
I think it's interesting, and actually I think it's kind of refreshing to hear, because we actually loathed her. We hated her. We wrote her to be hated, and surprisingly, some people have been.
Oh yeah, Jackson calls her hideous. Actually.
Yeah.
Which I thought was rough. I mean, I thought that was probably more than.
Oh, she is hideous. But we did occasionally feel sorry for her, so it makes us feel good that you feel that, because it means we did our job well.
No,
exactly.
Understood.
Exactly.
Well, human people can be infuriating, and you can also feel sorry for them. You know, and I found her. The thing is, she made me sad because she reminded me of a lot of human people. And you keep wanting to say, you know what, you don't have to do all of this. Like, all you got to do is just, like, take another week at this hotel, and why don't you, like, start working on a novel, you know? You don't have to go around interviewing people. Just write a chapter. Start writing a book.
Exactly. Simplify your
life. She never will, though. Yeah. These are the people who talk about it. Yeah, they talk about it, but they never do it. But they'll always talk about it, and sometimes that gets really old on this side of the fence. You know? For sure. She's a little therapeutic for us. We've run into people like this. You know.
Yeah. But she was.
I agree. I think it's a therapist for the grace of God thing, though. I think you can also you can write these characters to exercise possible demons of ourselves. I mean, if characters sometimes are reflections of the darkest aspects of ourselves, you know, surely this one and also the serial killer are.
Sure.
Well, I mean, you can disagree with that if you like. There's no reason to.
No, I think it's totally true. I mean, I think that you can't. How do you, you don't want to take credit for some of the, horrible violent stuff, but where does it come from? I mean, it I think that a lot of times you're able to, when you write fiction, a lot of times you're able to say and do some of the things that you wouldn't normally say or do that you want to. Sometimes they really do just come out of nowhere, and you have no idea where it came from, and you would never say or do those things. But confidence was a lot of fun.
It can be so simple that it's just, if you ask the average woman in particular on the street if she could kill somebody in order to protect herself, I don't mean kids, because anybody, if they say yes, that's unusual. And this is just, of course I could kill somebody if I had to. I know that. But when I was a little kid and other girls said, I can't do that, I said I could. And then they all looked at me and said, go play with the boys. Right. And it's kind of like that. It's an honesty. Yes, I could if I had to. And it's like that. So the serial killers, those are easier than Constance. Constance is more of a representation of people we have dealt with than ourselves, I hope. I'd rather be the serial killer than Constance any day of the week.
I really enjoyed the other serial killer. He's called Hammerhead, and he's what we open the book with. And this is a guy who does a sort of perfect series of crimes, which is that in this, wherever the hell they are, Big Sur or wherever.
San Bernardino Mountains, yeah.
Ah, yes. Okay, well, he's just whacking hikers. Brilliant. And it's pretty.
It's just a need,
it's that's a handy place to kill people, and it's sort of remarkable that it doesn't happen more. His weapon of choice is a hammer, which he wields, really swiftly. It's a good character, and also a complete nut job. He has this total. I liked his revulsion for sex. I thought it was interesting that of the two serial killers going on, one is sort of hypersexual, and the other is sort of I don't even know what to call him.
He's almost celibate.
Yeah, he's repressed.
Probably is.
Yeah, very severely. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't like he doesn't like the way that prostitutes dress. He thinks it's sort of he just doesn't go for any of that. It's interesting, and he's germophobic.
Yeah.
Cool characters. So I wanted to ask you about your One of you is in California, the other's in Denver. So what's your process? I've never written a novel with a partner before. I've done comic books with partners, but never a book. So how does the actual work get done? Like if you need to do, so in my mind I'm thinking, hey, we got to get like 3 chapters done this week, chapters 7 through 10. How do you divide that up, or is that how it happens at all? I mean, how do you do this?
We don't divide. Tell him.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah. We don't divide anything. What we do is we opened a email account, a joint email account, and we use Skype and we use the Google Drive. So we're talking on Skype while we are literally writing, because we can both see what the other one is doing. There never has been any like, I'll take this scene, you take that scene. It's never really worked like that. It's just we're both in the document, both actively writing or deciding.
Are you serious? You're literally writing sentences.
Yeah,
and
we are so similar.
You're looking over the electronic shoulder, and the one of you is typing, Hammerhead flops back down on the bed, comma, covered his head with a pillow, comma, and closed his eyes tightly, period, quote, go away, dot, unquote. And the other one is going, go back, I think it would be better to put in, how about if it was go away?
Oh, no, the other one just puts it in. We don't, we put it in and then it all comes out in the wash. And we'll both work on the same paragraph, one after the other. When we get really excited, we have a great time. It's the most fun I've ever had writing. Yeah.
When we get intense and things get really exciting, we're both literally sitting there writing, and it's just I know it sounds, the more people we talk to, the more people who are kind of baffled by this, but for us it's very smooth. We've never stepped on each other's toes. We've never fought about it. We've never it's never felt clunky at all. It just comes out, and we usually know we have similar vision, so we know exactly where we want to go. We know exactly what we want to do. So we just
change the same words. Yeah.
Wow, I think that's wonderful, and I have, and it strikes me as very like what they do in Hollywood, where a bunch of people will be in a room tossing lines, and putting a story together. But it's pretty unusual. I mean, I've never talked to anybody who had that method. I think
it is kind of like that. And when we're doing solo stuff, we work together too. I mean, we just finished. What's the name of the book? The Crimson Corset.
My first solo novel, The Crimson Corset, we just finished the big edit today, actually, just a few hours ago, and then we're going to send it off to the editors. But I've written this, but Tamara's reading it, and we're doing edits together, and even when we're working on solo projects, we're still working together.
We like our virtual office a lot.
Yeah.
We get to gossip and ask each other questions and brainstorm together. We're so alike that it's just really fun.
Well, that's
and we know we're lucky.
Yeah.
So this I know that you're also writing a series together that is called, this is The Ghosts of Ravenscrest, right? Did I say that right? Okay.
Yes, it's The Ghosts of Ravenscrest, yes.
It's
a gothic. And I was wondering what you meant by that, and I find, hey, it's actually about a governor who goes to a big house ruled over by a guy with a secret. So it really is a gothic. I mean, that's amazing.
Yes.
We love
gothic. Very exciting. I'm sorry? It's total gothic. We both love the genre. I loved Rebecca, Tamara loved, Dark Shadows, and it's a genre that there's really not a lot of right now. No,
but people love it all the same. So we decided, let's do this. Let's do a hardcore balls to the wall gothic. So
that's great. I've been thinking about that myself. I've been thinking what the world needs more gothic, truly. And there's
it really does.
It's funny. This you mentioned Rebecca, Daphne du Maurier. This book reminded me a lot of Jamaica Inn, really for the setting more than anything else. I mean, the characters. Oh, you're welcome. Of course. There's way more characters than there are in Jamaica Inn. And the Jamaica Inn is a du Maurier novel, so consequently she has a sort of tight little circle of characters. But yeah, very much reminded me for the seaside setting and the secrets and everything. If you haven't read that in a while, I totally recommend it. By the way, it's still.
I haven't read it. Yeah, we wrote it down though.
Yeah, it's du Maurier. I mean, and it has. It's not as good as Rebecca, but it's really good. It was made into a not very good Hitchcock movie and a BBC miniseries just like 2 years ago that I have no idea if that was any good or not. So
really?
Huh.
Yeah.
Check that out.
The complaint was that everybody thought that the accents were too thick. I mean, the British audience thought the accents of these Cornish pirates. They thought it was just everybody was too snarly, but I don't know. I haven't.
Gnarly, I like that.
Yeah. So
we will be picking that up.
I think it's exciting. Oh, and you can get that on Kindle too. So I think it's exciting that you're doing that. I'm definitely going to give those a read. What do you think? Before I let you go, and then I'm going to ask you, of course, where people can find your stuff. But I'm curious, what do you think are myths about the craft of writing that writers need to get over if they want to succeed? This is just a question that's just popping up at the top of my head. But you guys are doing really good work. You're working every day. I mean, what are the things that young writers or new writers say to you that just make you want to shake them and go, you don't get it, it's like this? What
writer's block is an excuse not to write.
What is it?
There's writer's block. I've never experienced it. So I'm not sure I believe it exists. Another one is that it's you have to that it's this painful art.
Yeah.
You have to and it's like if you want to be a writer, you sit down and you write. You have hours, just like it's a job.
Yeah.
And if
It is a job, yeah.
And if you don't feel inspired, well, tough.
Right.
You write anyway.
Yeah.
You write, and then as you get writing and you get some material written, then you're inspired. It's kind of inverted.
These memes that they put on Facebook about, I'm a writer and I suffer for my art. It just makes me say really dirty words and giggle a lot. It's please. It's your career. Why are you saying that?
Yeah, it's a job. It's a business. I think another one, that kind of bugs me is, I'm a writer. I don't have to do anything but write. And it's like, no, you have to go out there and you have to market your work. You have to work for it. You have to do interviews. You have to get reviews. You have to go do all these things, because whether you're with a big publisher or you're not with a publisher at all, you have to do these things if you want people to read your book. You don't get to just write a book. I mean, you write a book and by default, nobody cares.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. You have to work for it. And that's one that really bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
The misunderstanding bothers you. The fact that people think it's that easy.
Yeah. In a perfect world, if you're Stephen King, you have a big publisher who's going to do all that. But any midlist writer, they're not going to do much for you. You have to do it yourself.
Right. So it's a lot of work. It goes beyond the writing. The writing is actually one of the easiest parts. It's everything else that you have to do to be successful.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. You're talking about all this stuff that just is deeply annoying. I'm sure being on Twitter.
Yeah.
Keeping up. Yeah. All that stuff. I actually really do enjoy reading about my writer friends who are doing stuff. I want to hear what they're up to. I can't stand the notion that I'm supposed to be doing this stuff in order to help my brand. That just bugs me, because I'm like, God bless, that is not the business I'm in, right? Is it?
Right.
But it's a
perfect world, no.
It's a hard one too, because you're constantly, you have to walk that line between being what people expect and not being so far from who you really are, because people have ideals, they have expectations, and it's a fine line. And it can get suffocating.
Well, it's not so much that I'm worried about people having expectations in my case, is, because I write young adult novels, I don't think people have any expectation of me particularly, other than, but what annoys me about Twitter is I just rather not do it. I mean, it's, it just seems like one extra tool. It just seems like work, but you're exactly right that it is.
We use Twitter we have Facebook post to Twitter most of the time.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Yeah, we just have.
Well, I totally embrace doing public Facebook posts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the answer.
Yeah.
It is right. Yeah.
Okay, so where I want to wrap up, but I wanted to say, first of all, you've been delightful to talk to, and I'm really thankful that you would spend time. The new book is called The CLIFFHOUSE Haunting. It is a really, really cool, huge, epic-sized horror gothic. It's not quite gothic. I wouldn't properly call it gothic, but it's gothic-ish, and it's a serial killer book and a ghost book and Peyton Placey kind of giant bunch of characters book. And you can find it right now at Amazon. And where can I find you guys? Like, what links do you want to tell me about?
Well, both of us have everything connected through our websites. If you go to our websites, you can find Twitter, Facebook, Amazon, buy links, all kinds of stuff.
And what is that?
And so my website is alistaircross.com.
alistaircross.com, okay.
Yep, and it's alistaircross.com, and Tamara's is tamarathorne.com, tamarathorne.com.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's all there.
Well, then people will look for you there. I really did enjoy this book a lot, and I'm glad we had a chance
thank you.
to talk about it. Oh, sure, absolutely. And it's cool. It's really great talking to. This is my favorite thing about this segment is we talk to a lot of working writers, and I was very interested in hearing about your process. So it's awesome. All right, you guys have a fantastic evening. Go you therefore, do amazing things, and we will hopefully talk to you soon.
All
right.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.